Hello everyone, thanks for joining me today. My name is Dan, I'm the technical writer here at ShipWorks, and I'll be guiding you through how to add your FedEx account to the ShipWorks software. We'll also take a look at how to set a few defaults to make it a little bit easier for you when you go to ship your packages using FedEx. To get started, click on the Manage tab, then click on the Shipping Settings button. Then on the Shipping Settings screen, go ahead and select FedEx, and then you'll click on the Setup button. On the initial screen here, let's go ahead and enter in your FedEx account number. Give you a moment to do that. Once that is entered, of course, you can go ahead and click Next to continue. As a side note, you can click on the Click Here link if you do not have a FedEx account. That'll take you to a special FedEx landing page, which will guide you through opening a FedEx account. But in this case, let's go ahead and click on Next, and then we'll go ahead and accept the agreement. And then you can click Next again. Now we'll enter in the information regarding our FedEx account. You'll note that in my store setup, it pulled the address from my store setup directly in there. So we try to populate a lot of that information for you. However, if you need to fill that information in, please feel free to take the time to do that now. And of course, once that information is entered, go ahead and click on the Next button again. The next screen is going to walk us through how to configure our printers, what type of printer that we're utilizing, also whether or not we have a dock tab. So we're going to go ahead and mask the account number on the label, leave that as the default, and then let's choose the type of printer we're using. Standard would be an inkjet or laser printer. If you have an older thermal printer like a 02844, typically that's EPL, and then most newer thermal printers will support ZPL. That's what we're utilizing today. And if you do happen to be printing with a dock tab, typically it would be like a 4-inch by 8-inch label with maybe a 2-inch dock tab, a little extra strip on there. You can specify that here on this screen, and that tells FedEx to take that into account. So you can say, hey, I have a dock tab, and then you can say whether it comes out before the label or after the label, and FedEx will actually take that into account and not print over the top of your dock tab. We're not using one, so we're going to leave that turned off. And then, of course, if you do want to do a signature release authorization, you can enter that in now. You would just type a name in there. That is optional. And then if you do utilize FedEx Smart Post, you would have to enter in your hub ID here. Entering in that hub ID is all you have to do in order to turn on FedEx Smart Post for FedEx with you. We entered in our hub ID. Once that's done, we're going to go ahead and click Next. And then on the next screen, the origin addresses. This is used, let's say, if you were shipping with multiple warehouses or multiple locations, you could enter in more than one origin address that you can then select from when you're shipping with FedEx. So for example, if we had multiple warehouses, we could type in warehouse 2, enter in that information. We don't have multiple locations, so we're not going to enter any additional origin addresses. We're just going to cancel out of there. Go ahead and click Next to the next screen. Now, these are some of the base defaults that we can set for FedEx. These base defaults are the main defaults that will be pulled up automatically for you when you choose FedEx as your provider when you're shipping. So by going in and setting maybe the service that we typically use, the package type that we typically use, there's a million different defaults here that we can set up. But again, by selecting those, this is what will come up automatically for us when we go to ship with FedEx. So we can do services. We can also go to the packages tab. We can select how many packages are in a particular shipment. We can enter in dimensions. So if we have a particular box size that we always use, we can enter that in here. And then once we have all of those configured, we can go ahead and just click the OK button, and it'll save those defaults for us so that we don't have to select those options every time we go to ship with FedEx. So you might take a moment here just to take a look at those options, see what's available to you, and select those. I'll also show you how to get back to this in just a few moments. So let's go ahead and click Next. This screen will actually show us how we can select how we're going to print. So we're going to leave most of the defaults here. We want our labels to automatically print. So we'll just leave the automatically print labels after processing checked. And then the output rules define which printers ShipWorks will print our labels to based upon whether it's a thermal printer, a standard printer, whether or not we need a commercial invoice if we're shipping internationally. You may be prompted when you click Next to choose those printers, and it gives you the option to either use your default printer or you can click choose to select from the printers that are installed on this computer. So take a moment to go ahead and select your printers here. We're just going to use the defaults. We've already got those set up. We'll just click OK. And then once we have our printers selected, we'll go on to the next screen. Email accounts, you can add an additional email account or a single email account to the ShipWorks software, which gives you the ability to email your customers directly out of ShipWorks. So if you wanted a shipment notification to be automatically emailed out of ShipWorks to your customers when you process a FedEx shipment, you could configure that. In our case, our online marketplace will automatically email our customers. So we're not going to select that option. As a side note, there are additional articles out there for you if you choose to do that. Great, we are now connected to FedEx. So we'll go ahead and click Finish. And when we click Finish, it'll take us back to the shipping settings screen. It will automatically select FedEx for you. I mentioned earlier that I would show you how to get back into those defaults for FedEx. You'll notice at the top of the screen here, we have the little blue link for defaults FedEx. If you click on that, it'll take you back into those defaults and you can make changes to those if you would like. You can also make modifications to whether or not you have a dock tab on your label. And if you scroll down a little bit, you'll notice there is a section here for FIMS. So if you do ship using FIMS, you can check the box and then enter in your FIMS username and password, and that'll configure that for you. We do not ship with FIMS, so we'll leave that unchecked. And then last thing I wanted to point out that you have a section here for available services and for available package types. This allows you to clean up the interface. So when you're shipping with FedEx, you can turn off or on any services that you do utilize with FedEx so that they do show up or don't show up in the services drop-down menu. And you can do the same thing with the available package type. So if you don't have, if you have packages that you never ship with, you can turn those off and they won't show up in the packages drop-down menu on the shipping screen for FedEx. So you can take a moment to turn those on or off. You can also get back to these later if you choose to do so. When you're done, go ahead and click close. And that is it. You are set up and ready to ship with FedEx in ShipWorks. Thanks so much for joining us. I hope you have a great afternoon. Take care.